Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cataclysm, or at least to the main menu of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. Now, in this episode, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to address a request that I had in the comments to find out how I was setting up my world, as a couple of you are playing along, but you're having very different experiences. Now, first and foremost, no two worlds are ever going to be the same because they are procedurally generated. I don't know how the seed works. I don't know if there is a way to enter seed, though I guess we're just about to find out. I'm going to create a template world, or at least a mock world. Currently, we're playing in the Aavak world. I also have a character that I just play around with myself in a world that I've called Dapper. But in a nutshell, to create the world, you click on Create New World. Then you have a number of mods that you can select from, and it basically crafts the sort of game that you're going to be playing. The Dark Days Ahead core content pack is the base game. Everything else is a mod that changes it in some way. Quite often I'll have all the vehicle mods, for example. We'll add all of those in just for the sake of it. You can add a couple of extra buildings if you want to. I usually don't like having disabled NPC needs. I like my NPCs to need to sleep, to need to eat. And we've already covered in my Let's Play why I disable filthy clothing, but if you wanted it, you could keep it there. If you wanted to have to keep track of your nutrition and the sorts of minerals and vitamins that you were consuming, you could turn off simplified nutrition as well. If you go back then and you hit tab, you go to the blacklist. You can disable various things like mutagens, religious texts, and no antique firearms, fictional guns, flaming weapons, medieval items, sci-fi equipment, no survivor armor, and then no specific special zombies. You can also turn off no monsters, removes all monsters from the game save for the wildlife category. So you'd get rid of a lot of the kind of special freaky creatures, the sort of eldritch creatures. Next, you've got balance. This is where you can find stats through skills 4, by the way. You can pop that in there if you wanted to. Likewise, you can stop zombies from reviving if you leave their bodies intact for too long. You can improve survivor weapons, all these sorts of things. Once you've done that, you use the triangle bracket pointing to the right to move to world options. Now, delete world means that when the last active character in that world dies, the world automatically gets deleted. I don't like doing that. I actually like having characters live for several different characters in the same world. It gives a kind of a feeling of completeness in a way. Now, the default size for cities is 4, but I like it to be 9. I like the cities to be a bit bigger. You can even take it all the way to 16, in which case the cities are going to be gigantic. If you have 0, it disables cities. Then you're only going to have small towns and little cabins in the woods, stuff like that, but you're going to have a very, very wide and lonely playthrough. I like cities and I like them to be big. I also like them to be reasonably far apart, so I increase it very slightly. I find that increasing this too much and you'll end up feeling like there are no cities because there'll be such massive long expanses of roads, or sometimes nothing between cities, that you might be forgiven for thinking they weren't there. So I like to keep it close-ish to the default, but just a little bit on the wider the longer roads between cities, just to give that kind of feeling that you are traveling between one city and the next. Then you can adjust the item spawn rate, the spawn rate scaling factor. This determines, as it says, the density of monster spawns, monster evolution. Over time, monsters will gradually get more dangerous. You'll see less and less of the weaker creatures and more of the more strange and wonderful and also terrifying versions of them. And that's what controls that. You can also increase their speed or decrease it, or increase or decrease their resilience. Now, there used to be mods that I would use which would halve zombie movement speed but double zombie toughness. Well, now you can actually just very finely tune that in the basic game options, which I quite like. You've got all sorts of things when you start, what time of day it is, what season it is, how long the seasons are. Mine are twice as long as the norm, but they can go up to 127 days per season if you particularly want to have very long periods of time where you have to really bunker down and prepare for the winter sort of stuff. Construction scaling, just how long it takes to do all that. Now, generally speaking, these are the settings that I use for all of my worlds. I've adjusted the default settings, which you can do under the settings menu, so that whenever I make a world, it starts with these as the default rather than the true default option. So this is basically what Aavak is. All these options are more or less what I have set, except that I started a little bit later in the day. I chose to have a bit of a nighttime start, so it was around 5, 6 in the evening that the world started up. But that's basically how I have my world set up. So for those who are wondering, those are the settings, more or less, that I've used. But let us jump into the Cataclysm. Okay then. So, we have a car. I am really eager to get this back to the base, rather than spend too much time out here doing bits and bobs. So as a result... first I'm going to eat some of my potato chips. There we are. Gobble down all of these. There we are. Om nom nom. I'm in a pretty good mood, but it's not quite good enough yet. Alright, let's... spider crawling zombie. Not exactly what I wanted to see. Now, someone asked, how do you know if a zombie is spotted you? Well, if you bring up the around menu by pressing Shift V, a capital V by default, and then tab between items and monsters, you'll get all of this information. You'll get a better, thorough description about the monster itself. But up here is all you really need. It tells you which direction it is, how far away it is, its temperament, whether it's hostile, fleeing, ignoring, neutral, that sort of stuff. An idea of how healthy it is, what it is, and if it's spotted you, there'll be a yellow exclamation mark here. Now, if that is there, it generally means they can see you, but it might also mean they can sense you. But if you see that exclamation mark, it means that they know precisely where you are. It's not the same as if they've heard a noise and they're moving towards it, or they're following a scent trail. No, they know exactly where you are. And then it comes down to how they'll react based on their temperament. If they're hostile, you can expect them to make a beeline toward you. If they're ignoring, well, they're just going to ignore you. If they're fleeing, they're going to make a beeline away from you in the most direct route. So bear that in mind. So, for example, if I look now, it hasn't seen me. And if I move along here, let's have a look. There aren't any monsters or items around me, I can see. Very well. Right, what we're going to do then is we're going to head in here because there are a couple of things I want to do specifically. Now, I brought along my cash cards because I would very much like to transfer all money onto a single cash card. That means that the other cash card is now available for me to use... Oh, why am I carrying all of that around? For crafting purposes. I mean, it is plastic. It's usable plastic, basically. So that's why that's important. Ah, a body that I have not yet butchered. Let me fix that, shall I? Now, can you see me? Shady zombie all the way down there. Can't see me good. Right, I would like to move the tainted bones across. And I would also like to remain out of the light if I can. Shady zombies are not an issue. Oh, you've spotted me now, haven't you? Yes, you have. Okay, let's move all of that in. And then just go ahead and drop my my cart there. Right, okay. So what are we currently carrying? Makeshift crowbar, toolbox, drop those. Drop my umbrella and drop my backpack. Since I'm going to be fighting, get ready for fighting. It is super important to do this. Now, it can't see me. It knows what I last was, but it hasn't got a clue where I am now because it can't see that well. It can now, almost certainly. There we are. Hello. I'm going to move quickly, and I'll do my best to force you over counters. Oh, that was silly of me. I was destroying the freezer unit. That was massively silly of me. Right, let's butcher this while I can. Tough zombie butchered. Ooh, a Remington. Nice. I wasn't expecting something like that. Okay, I haven't got my items with me. Scrap metal. What are these then? It's a display rack. Ooh. Now the other thing I wanted down here is... Right, first and foremost, let's wait for a couple of heartbeats. There we are. I want to get sheet metal. What do we get there? Copper tubes, sheet glass, rubber hose, chunk of metal, scrap metal. Not exactly what I wanted, I'll be honest, but it's not bad either. Right, there we go. Let's pop all of that in there. Let's see if maybe I can get something from these display racks. Let's deconstruct this. What do we get? Sheet metal's perfect. That is exactly what I needed. The sheet... Oh, damn it. Okay. Firefighting zombie in the distance. It's not so great. Let me grab my backpack because I'm going to grab these things myself. Wear that. And then get the items off the ground. There we are. It's good enough. Let's leave now. We're pushing our luck. But I know where I can get some sheet metal later on, though. And that is the important part. I'm a derp. Came out. Am I already wet? I am getting much more wet over time. I should have considered that. Let me grab my umbrella. Once I was already out without my umbrella, I thought, oh, well, I'm already wet now. But you can always be made more wet. Always worth just putting it, you know, even if you stepped a few steps outside, you might not be wet enough for it to affect your morale at all at that point. Right, let's move some things in here. We made a bit of a ruckus in the store, so let's not assume that nothing is coming for us right now. Let's drop all of this off. Tainted meat, why have I got that in there? That's a bit silly of me. Oh, well, we've got it now, so I might as well pop that in. Copper tubing, dress, frying pan. Well, we'll actually load everything in here. Now, the reason why I'm going to do that is we're not taking the trolley with us. This is now going to be down here as a means for us. Destination is full. Really? Yeah, 162 of 162. Sorry, 162.4 of 162.5. Or rather, 0.04. There we go. Right. You have served your purpose well. I am going to gather the tainted meat, drop it on the floor, and then we're going to store you in here. There we are. And stop grabbing. Now, the reason why I'm leaving it here is, as I mentioned, I fortified this house a little bit. We still haven't fully examined that place. We still haven't stripped everything that I want out of there. So we're going to leave that for now. But over here, we're going to leave a note. This is now effectively my staging area for raids into the town. Later on, we'll move that deeper into the town as we clear the zombies out of the way. Now, although I have wander spawns, there are still a finite number of zombies in this town, or possibly city. As a result, we don't want to just rush in, rush out, and not really care about killing zombies. As we carefully move through, if we're thorough, we will make areas completely safe. If you then cause loud noises and you're still in the town and the town itself hasn't been cleared entirely, that can still draw zombies from the other part of the town. So you still need to be cautious. But what we're going to do here, we are going to make... Now, you can make your notes a different color, use different symbols. I'm going to make this one a nice big bold green. And so you put the letter for the color you want, then a semicolon. And then I'm going to use H and a colon, because I want a H to be the icon on the map. And then I'm going to call this raid base. There we are. Nice and simple. You won't see it right now because I'm on that tile. But if we go up here, I'm going to do the same thing. But this one I want to be a nice bold red. H again, home base. And this is why I used H as the symbol, because it's a base. There we go. And if I move off that area, it should close. But let's... close the trunk. There we go. Open the door. Of course, I climbed in the wrong side. Because, well, A, I climbed into the back, which was the wrong side no matter what. And I climbed in on the wrong side, because this is not a British car. This is an American car. Right, okay. Let's have a look at the vehicle. How much you charge. You're up to 13%. 6% of your total battery. Alright. Now, I've not really got any driving skill to speak of, so this is going to be a bit rough. Start the engine. Okay. Just take it up to a little bit of speed. It's immediately at 16 kilometers an hour because it's a car. It gets to its speed very, very quickly. There we are. I'm just going to leave the engine on a low setting, though. Just going at 15 kilometers an hour. It more or less hit that speed straight away. We could increase the speed, and Every turn that I spend in this car right now, I'm training my driving. But we're going to get a little bit further away from the city. Okay, I think we're far enough away now. I'm going to turn my lights on. You can do all sorts of things, like stop driving whilst it's still in motion. You can try and get out of the car while it's still in motion. I do not recommend you do either of these two things. Turn on the headlights. There we go. Now, anything in front of this car is now lit up like the sun at the moment, so all zombies will see it. So be aware. From the south, you hear a hum. This is now the sound of the engine, because I'm pushing the engine a little bit harder. If you leave it very, very low, then the engine is never going to make too much of a noise. And the faster you go, the further your sight will move ahead of you, so that you can adjust for the speed. There we are. We can see all sorts of things thanks to the lights. We don't really want to see most of them, though. Now, one thing to be aware of, if you drive over stuff, you're going to damage it. Makes sense, really, doesn't it? Right. Let's slow down. There we go. And as you saw, my viewport adjusted to account for the fact that I was now moving a little bit slower. Just up there. There we go. That'll do. And S to pull a handbrake. There you go. Don't do that if you're moving really fast. At least don't do it if you're not wearing a seatbelt. Which, actually, thinking about that, am I actually wearing a seatbelt? Right, at the very least, pass a turn or two, depending on how fast you were moving, once you pulled the brakes. Make sure down here is saying 0. Now, I didn't actually cover this when I started driving. I'm sorry about that. Again, it's because I'm so familiar with the game, it's sometimes hard to imagine what someone might not be familiar with. But this is telling me that I'm driving. So, 90 degrees, I guess that's my overall direction. This is the fuel gauge. If you've got a petrol car or a diesel car, you might have multiple different types of fuels, depending on which engines you've got active. You can have a hybrid car that has got electric and fuel engines. You can have several engines in a vehicle at once, and you can have different combinations of them all turned on at once. And this will more or less combine them all, I think. Now, the thing to be aware of here, by the way, you can change the units of measure if you are American and you find the idea of dealing with kilometers per hour or Celsius and all of that particularly hard on your noggin. You can, by all means, go into options and change the unit of measure to imperial. And then everything will adjust accordingly. Weights will no longer be done in liters. I think there'll be more gallons and stuff like that. But at any rate, this is your actual speed. This is the speed that you're trying to reach. Bear that in mind. So make sure this one is 0, and then pass at least one more turn after having done that to make sure it stays at 0. At that point, you're free to do this. We're going to turn off the headlights because they're using battery. You can turn on dome lights, by the way, if you really want to. So, or rather, turn off the dome lights. So we've shut down all of the lights in the car right now. We can. We turned them on, and so our eyesight got worse because the inside of the car was lit. So we turned on the dashboard lights came on, the little overhead light, there we go, you can see things. If you're not like Brutus, who can actually see better when those lights aren't overpowering, drowning out all the details from his rather accomplished night vision. So that's one other thing you can do. Disable cruise control, remember vehicle position. Always remember your vehicle position. Always. You start keeping track of this vehicle's position. And with that, let go of the controls. There we are. We should be able to... We take control of the controls. I want to stop driving, though. You turn the engine off and let go of the controls. There we are. Now, this is currently named the electric car. We don't want that, but we're going to need a different name. Now, we used up 3% of the charge in one of our swappable batteries doing that. Also, I didn't realize that... well, we pushed the car a little bit harder than we needed to, but I wanted to get away as fast as I could. But we are going to need a name. And I'm going to leave this open to the comments on that one. You let me know what you want the name to be. Now, obviously, that's not going to charge except at night. Now, without the shopping trolley, moving things from this vehicle is going to be a bit of a pain. We can do it, though. in a bit of a roundabout way. What we'll do is move everything at all times, like so. Takes us a long time to do, though. Bear that in mind. If you look down at the amount of time it took, it will usually give you a decent idea. But since this is doing it in lots of stages, you won't really know. So bear that in mind. It'll probably give you an idea of how long it took you to move the last object that you moved, but it's not really going to tell you how long it took you to move everything. Right, there we go. Everything has been moved in. And I'll take care of all of that later. Oh my lord. But one thing I want is the brazier. Where are we? Where are you, brazier? I want to set you back up. Actually, it's probably wise that I move things into the right spot. So, yeah, okay. We're going to do a little bit of moving stuff around. So, first, my tools. Everything that I need to move across. The frying pan, crowbar, scissors. I've got 2 frying pans there now. Pair of scissors, sure. Teapot. Obviously. I mean, come on. Are there any other things that I absolutely want to keep here? No, not really. I wouldn't say so. Okay. Right. Well, at this point then, up here we've got 2x4s and the likes. And down here we've got a bunch of other things. This was really meant for my weapons across there. So let's move some of these around. We don't need the heavy sticks there. The long strings. Well, the rock can actually stick. The rocks are, as it happens, weapons. Right. Now, everything else, we're just going to try and move up into one large area. Let's see, is everything else here ready to be moved? I would say so, yes. So let's just dump all of that over there. Later on, we'll sort that out. I did notice there was a golf club there, though, and the Remington. So let's grab these. Now, is there a brazier? Did I leave that somewhere? Oh, that would be incredibly silly of me if I had. I wouldn't put it past me, though. Grab the aspirin as well. Yeah, I don't see the brazier. That is a little bit worrying. Where did I leave that? Did I leave it set up somewhere? I might... Ah, of course I did. I left it in the house. Ah... It's rough work being an Aavak sometimes. Rough work. You think you have it rough watching an Aavak. No, no, no. Try being an Aavak. Much harder. But as I kind of like the way a couple of other people have coined the phrase. Living as me is basically life on hard mode. I'm just doing a challenge run right now. It's fine. I've run through life several times in my various other reincarnations, but this time I thought, nah, I'm getting a little bit bored. It's a little bit too easy, so I'm going to live as an Aavak for a little while. That should up the ante a little bit. You know what? I'll put her on permadeath as well. I'm playing Iron Mode Aavak. Now that is serious gumption right there. I'm not going to wield a 2x4 now. Let's go ahead. Even Rick wouldn't play Aavak on Iron Man. No way. Even Rick would quail about that. Right. We want to break down the microwave. 12 sheets we actually do want to move along. I want to separate things out here that I want to break down, basically. The bowler hat we're keeping, obviously. I mean, come on. What kind of monster would break a bowler hat? And that's when you know you've been in the Cataclysm too long. Your morale is dead. The moral compass is just gone. Your emotions have become numb. You're just waiting for the will to burn at that point. Yeah, we'll grab all of those. Right, I want to drop Lessons for the Novice Bow Hunter there. I'll drop the soap up with my general medicinal stuff. Actually, it looks like I was putting the medicinal things on a different area. Let me pop those over there instead. We'll pop the thread down here, pop the bowler hat down there, and the cash card as well. Right, okay, now I want to make... I want a drink, actually. Let's grab, for that matter, let's make another pile. and have a check the category. Right. I would like to move anything that I'm going to break down. I don't need bras. The newsboy cap. I don't particularly need that either, if I'm perfectly honest. Rubber gloves I do want, though. I'll get the sneakers, the thigh-high boots, the winter boots. I think we've already got a pair of winter boots that's safe. So that's all moved across. The rubber hose we're keeping. The glass bowl, glass shards. They're safe to move into a pile of things you're going to destroy because you can't break them down any further. The microwave I want to break down. Plastic bags will leave. Tainted bones will also move across. The anything else in here? No, I think we're actually okay with that then. Alright, let's move across and just cut up all we can. There we go. Now we should have made a nice pile of useful items as a result. The microwave wasn't broken down. Interesting. But we've got a lot of plastic chunks, leather pieces, rags. Oh, that's fantastic work. The rags are lots of thread, basically. That's what I consider rags useful for. Right, let me see. Can I break down the microwave? I can't see to craft it. Well, that's a bit of a pain in the bum. I guess what I could do, I could even go outside and use the car for this at this point if I really wanted to. Let's drop the microwave there and then break the microwave. I need my toolbox for that. Let's go and grab that. Yoink. And then break the microwave. We'll get a processor board, some copper wire, an amplifier circuit, 4 power converters, and 8 plastic chunks. Yes, please. I heard a noise. Ignore it. That is actually reasonably close by. A little bit worrisome. Heard a noise. Ignore it more. Don't know what it is. But it could be something dangerous. It could also just be an animal wandering around outside. But whilst I'm safe inside, I see no reason to go outside to meet it. I would like to drink some of my clean water. No. Waste not, want not. Next up. So far, so almost good. I guess, actually, thinking about it, I could make another brazier. Couldn't I? Yes. I'm going to grab sheet metal. There should be some more sheet metal here. Where is it? 2 sheet glass. Chunk of steel. I was certain that I had 2 sheet metals. Oh dear. I clearly did not read that properly. That is unfortunate. Okay, well... Oh no, there are definitely 2 sheet metals nearby. So where is the other one? Okay. I want to move this into my inventory and I'll look around. Let's find sheet metal. Sheets of glass. Only 1 sheet metal there. Alright, how about here? Sheet metal. What we can do down here is filter. And then just put in sheet. Okay, it must be over here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, so I've got 2 sheet metal. Let's go ahead and make a brazier. There we go. Problem solved. And now we've got a brazier in the town that we can use at some point. Let's deploy the brazier. I'm going to grab a 2x4. Now, I've been told that you don't actually need to put hash, then the number. You can just put a number and then indicate that which item you want to pick up, and it'll just grab that number of those items, which is super useful. I didn't realize that before. Alright, there we go. Let's make a little fire. Glorious. Right. Is there any noms that I can make? Boiled noodles. I approve. We needed a skill of 1 for this. It's fine. We've got plenty of clean water. It'll give me I can only make 1. That's fine. I'll eat it. Yum. Can I make any more? Scrambled eggs. I'll make 2 batches of scrambled eggs. What? I wasted some materials. Damn it. Oh well. Finish eating that. Now the scrambled eggs. Ah, we've got a little bit left over as well. Life is very good for me right now. I'm happy. Okay, now let's have a quick look. Can we make a crossbow yet? No, it's probably that I don't have enough skill in something. Well, a crossbow wouldn't be a bad idea, though. I'm really tempted. For the time being, a short bow would be the better option. Very well. It's time for us to start training our archery, I feel. So let's make a short bow. I'll use a heavy stick that's nearby for that one. I'll use the long string nearby to make it. Try again. There we go. Now, the nice thing with a short bow, we can wear it. As you might wear a bow. It wouldn't make sense if this was like a compound bow, but just a regular bow, you can just kind of sling it across and wear it with the string across your chest. It is kind of encumbering, but it's something that we can live with. Wooden fishing spear, no. We want small game arrow or fire-hardened wooden arrow. We can make pebbles, a decent amount of pebbles if we want to make the crossbow. I'm not sure though, it doesn't really make as much sense to me. We'll make some fire-hardened arrows instead. The small game arrow is going to do less damage to small game, obviously. But we'll go with this, I think. We need some thread, heavy stick or 2x4s. We've got plenty of those. We've got feathers, duct tape, plastic bags. Let's make a lot of these. Now I'm going to make 6. It's worth noting that you get 10 per craft. We're going to use 6 plastic chunks or 60 feathers, 6 2x4s or 6 heavy sticks. We've got all of this together. Let's go ahead. I would like to use the thread, not the duct tape. The duct tape is precious to me. And we'll use the feathers. Scallybags. Okay, right, well, let's grab 2 2x4s then. Drop those over here. And light that fire. There we are. Right, now I would like to try again to make the fire-hardened wooden arrows. 6 of them. There we are. Use the thread, heavy sticks, feathers. You're tired. No, don't stop crafting. Keep going. There we are. Okay, I've got my fire-hardened wooden arrows. The final thing I would like, quiver. Can I make one? I can't. Well, that's a bit of a pain. I'm dead tired now, though. Finally, it's time for me to sleep. So let's go ahead, crawl into bed. Actually, you know what? I've earned something. Let me go and grab. God, where's the blankets? I'm sure we got some blankets. Did we not get any blankets? Ah, drat, there were blankets in the other house along with my brazier. Blech. Oh well. Time for us to sleep then. Well earned, I think. Well earned. Good times. Some lightning storm outside, that's fine. Perfectly fine. It's cloudy, so our electric car is not going to be getting a particularly good charge right now, but oh well. Yeah, we're giving it plenty of time to charge up. There we go. We feel well rested. Hooray! It's a new day. Okay, well, we've got a couple of things we could do. First and foremost, I'm going to grab my umbrella and I'm going to wield it. Then I'm going to eat some scrambled eggs. Nom nom nom. Then I'm going to eat plastic bag of chewy candies. I think I deserve some. Let's not be too crazy. We'll have one. You know what? I didn't do it last night because I was dead tired anyway. I'm going to celebrate with a bit of vodka. This is the life. You wouldn't know it was the Cataclysm. Right, I'll grab some 2x4s. I would like to make another fire. And then I would very much like to make some more scrambled eggs, please. Let's go ahead and make... Yeah, 2. There we are. Eat those scrambled eggs. This is indeed the life. I'm going to leave those 2 for later. And then I'm going to drink some clean water as well. We are going to have to go back into town reasonably soon, though. We've got a lot of stuff that we need to do down there. Now then. Time for us to continue our pit work, honestly. So, let's get the pit being dug a little bit deeper. It's night again. I prefer it when it's night. Dig down here as well. Okay, I'm getting a little bit hungry. That's why I keep the scrambled eggs. The thirst is a problem, so let's go ahead and drink some more clean water over there. We've almost got a fully deep pit perimeter. That is particularly useful for us. Updating stats based off skills. We haven't done enough yet to improve that, which is a bit of a shame. There we go. Now, a lot of people have been saying in the comments that I can put 2x4s over a pit to allow me to cross it. Yes, that is absolutely right. You can. I hadn't mentioned it yet because I wasn't at the point where it made sense to. Simply because we hadn't gotten to a point where I really wanted to express that. But I kind of want to still for science whether I can cross with spikes in the pit because it's good information to have. But you can absolutely use a 2x4 to make it safe. And that was something that we were going to have to do once it was a deep pit to get our trolley across. You cannot pull a trolley across a deep pit. You can do it across a regular pit, but not a deep one. So we're just going to drop this 2x4 here. And from now on, if you want to put a pit, you make a crossing path for a pit, you look at the pit with E, so you examine it, and then it'll say, do you want to place a plank over it? And it'll use a plank that's nearby. There you go. It's now completely safe, and you can move across it without any issue at all. And then remove cover, and then you'll just pick it up and put it back where you had it, which is pretty cool. I actually do want to cross. Now, be aware that, yes, the zombies can use that as well. Now, what are we up to? Only 12%. It's going to take a while with only one working solar panel. Yeah, it's going to take a long while for us to get that sorted. I am very thirsty, though. Very hungry indeed. Let's go ahead and drink what remains of that water there. And my remaining scrambled eggs. We're going to need to go and grab some more water. Though someone mentioned that they believe that there was water in the bunker. No. There are shelters, but this is not a shelter. It is a bunker. Sorry, it's an evac shelter, not a bunker. Exactly the opposite of what I wanted to say. So we have just a basic basement. So we're not going to find anything particularly useful down there, unfortunately. Right, let's have a quick look. Can I make much with chem? I can make salt water, but nothing particularly amazing. I can make a wooden shield. Might be funny. Head, we don't really need anything there. Hands. We could now make woolen hand wraps. Might be reasonable to do. Leather loincloth. No. Foot wraps. Don't need it. I can make blankets. I can make another towel if I really wanted to. No. Nothing we particularly need to do. We can make axes to go and gather logs from the tree line, chopping down trees. We can now make a makeshift funnel. Oh, well, we can make it with a gallon jug. It's not exactly what I want to do, though. I want to make an actual funnel, if I can. It'd be much more useful for me. Is there anything else here I need? No, that is not. Okay, we can make a steel jerry can if we get a metal tank. We can take that out of a car, actually. So if we find another car, we can take the fuel tank off it, which would be quite useful. I can make a gallon jug out of 8 plastic bottles if I have it. I wouldn't mind making some sort of water skin, honestly. But that might take a little bit more time to be able to make. Nail board, trap, snare trigger. Nothing too incredible there. Anything over here? It's always worth just having a quick look through the new things you can make at any particular time, though. Make a shoulder strap for a gun. You can mount it on a crossbow, launcher, rifle, shotgun. Okay. If I had a soldering iron, I could make an arrow rest for my bow. Now, I should be carrying my bow. Yeah, I am. And I've got my arrows on me as well, which is particularly nice. Right, let's drop all of this down over here. There we are. I'm going to drop the shovel for now. We'll keep everything else with me. Grab all of this. We want to move everything over that we can. Anything that was there, we don't want to get rid of, basically. We'll keep the plastic bottles and gallon jug because we are going to have to go back into town. Now, my vehicle has not had nearly enough time to recharge yet, which is a bit of a problem. I'll grab one of these. Also going to bring my towel, actually. That being said, I have got a little bit of time. A little bit. I think it may be time for us to try our hand at a wee bit of tailoring. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, can't see to crap. That's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I can see now. I have to be carrying it. Very well. We'll pick up the sundress. Actually, I don't need to be carrying my umbrella with me. Let's drop that down for now. There we go. Let's work on the sundress for now. We'll wield it. It seems to make sense. And we're just going to try and repair it. And I would like to repair it until it's fully repaired but not reinforced. I destroyed it. That's how bad I am at tailoring. I have increased to level 1 though. We'll try next the light jacket. Once again. Go ahead with that and go until it's fully repaired. No, I destroyed it. Now this is the danger of tailoring at low levels. But we're up to 37% of the way to level 2 in tailoring, which is useful. Let's grab the hoodie next. And this is why I keep these items around, so that I can train up on trying to repair them. Damaging it, and we destroyed it. Next up, we'll grab... Well, I don't really care to try and repair the leather pants because I'll be using leather for that. That's plastic, leather, cotton and plastic. Okay. Let's see. What's my skill at currently? Oh, 74. Alright, we'll try the leather pants then. We may be able to get the next level of skill from this. There we are. Repeat until fully repaired. Tool does not have enough charge to do that. Very well, let's reload it then. The bone needle, there we are, reloaded it completely. And my headset is complaining to me. You might even be able to hear the beeping that it's making, saying, "No, I'm running out of charge. You don't want to be left in a zombie apocalypse without a headset with charge." Which is true. You probably don't. There we go. And I've got the backup one on. There we are. Okay, so I've reloaded the bone needle. It should have, yeah, a full 200 charges in it. So let's now try and repair the leather pants. And we're up to skill 2. And we fully repaired it. There we go. Not bad, actually. Not bad at all. Let's have a look at these leather pants now compared to my current pants. The leather pants have... They're more encumbering. They have significantly less storage. But they are much more protective. Good. Very good. Maybe we could also see if we could drive our tailoring that little bit further needed to be able to reinforce it, since they do fit. I'm not going to do that right now, though. I want to try on a couple more things to improve my skill a little bit further before then. But now that we have tailoring up, there may be all sorts of new things that we can make. Let's have a quick look through, and you'd be surprised where these items would exist. They're not all going to exist in clothing. Tailoring can be used for a lot of different crafts, as it happens, an awful lot of different crafts. Right, okay, well, we're over here. Let's have a quick... There we are, quiver. Let's have a look. We'll make a swag bag. That's what I'm saying. A large canvas sack repurposed for makeshift storage goes well with a striped shirt and a domino mask. Plastic shopping bag. We can actually make those now. I can make a duffel bag. Quite a lot of storage. I believe that's already what we're using right now, though. But the quiver is the main thing. You can store 20 rounds of arrows or bolts. I would like a large quiver, though. I guess this is going to have to do for now. So we'll go ahead and we'll make a quiver. And we'll wear said quiver. And we will now activate said quiver to store fire-hardened wooden arrows in it. Alright, those we can now leave behind if I'd like to, and I think I would. Drop those off. I want to reorganize my my items. Now this is one around our waist, so it doesn't necessarily need to be on the backpack layer. In fact, shouldn't be. Now we've got 2 items. That's very bulky. It's one around your waist. Don't want the belt anymore. The belt is now surplus to demand. It is on the same layer as my quiver. And as you see, now we've got +2 instead of +4 because of the layering bulk. The quiver takes the same spot as a belt. Easy to miss. Very, very easy to miss, actually. This is just basically worn. We'll be taking that off if we're getting into a fight. Along with the backpack, actually. Yeah, more than likely. I mean, the duffel bag would be better than the backpack. Give me a massive amount of storage. But it is massively cumbersome, but maybe that would be worth it, actually. For those times when I am... Because I generally drop my backpack anyway. A quick look. How much would it require? 30 thread is all I lack. 30 thread. How much is in my bone needle? My bone needle has a fair bit, actually. So, capital U to unload. There we go. We should now be able to make a duffel bag. Let's try. Use the rags nearby. I craft the duffel bag. There we go. Very well. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to drop my backpack. No longer need the backpack. There we go. And let's make sure that everything is in the right order. Doesn't really matter there, but we are now massively encumbered. But we have enormous amount of storage potential. And we can always drop the duffel bag when we need to. So that is fantastic. We have a quiver with fire-hardened wooden arrows. Yeah, I think we're in a good position to move forward. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reload my bone needle, though. And I'm going to drop that down here. There we are. That's all we need to do. The campfire drill is coming with. Everything else is coming with. Yep. And let's grab these and drop the backpack. Actually, the backpack can now go over here, I suppose. Right, wield the... Where are we? Wield the umbrella. Away, heading on out. There we go. I don't want zombies to be able to cross over, so I'll just pull this back. The pit looks too dangerous to mess with. Best leave it alone, indeed. Now, do we want to drive our car back? I'm already tired. Wow. It's a bit of a pain. Actually, before we head in, let me go grab the powdered egg. Let's grab that. Powdered egg. There we go. That will... Also, let's eat some items here. Let's gobble down some more potato chips. Yeah. And even more. We need some food. Even though this is actually really hurting my thirst, it will take a little bit of the edge off my hunger. Alright, let's close the door. Aha, I remembered which side to get it on this time. And let's get going. Let's allow the vehicle to get up to its moderate speed. Okay, we've got a zombie group down there. We've got 2 NPCs over here. Nothing we can't handle. But I think that's going to be where we are wrapping up this episode. We're going to drive back into the town and continue our hunt. Also, why am I wielding my umbrella still in the car? Let me store that in my inventory. That could only be incredibly awkward to hold whilst in a car, in my humble opinion. But that is where we're going to wrap things up. I really do hope you're enjoying the episode so far. We've got our car. This is amazing. We're going to be able to carry so much stuff. Also, what is that over there? Are these... Oh, raccoon corpse. Ooh. Possum corpse. We've just found some food. We'll be back for those. But that's going to be it from me. So until next time, and as always, do take care, survivors.